Scarpins Avenue.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Sklar Country, the Virus Edition, aka the Pandy Pods,
aka two guys, the original couch,
aka two dudes, no bad attitudes,
aka two bros, 10 feet from a garden hose,
aka one Zai, two goats,
aka one egg, four legs,
aka two guys, hush hush, eye to eye. We're the original room. This is where it all started.
Randy's basement.
We're a little nomadic. My wife is shooting some stuff that she's doing in her office right now, and she's working there, and so it's not great for a couple of these we shot with her in the background. We were at Jay's house doing some stuff. Now we're back in the original
with
spot.
People blowing leaves around outside and cars crashing through. It's insane. But here we are, just trying to make this little show work for you guys day after day, because we do believe that something is growing with this show.
I think so too.
It's so funny because I don't know if we're getting more listeners or if our listeners are becoming more vocal and interactive, which we appreciate. But it does weirdly feel like there is momentum with this show, like it's hitting its stride, and we are connecting with people who are out there saying to themselves, you know, I want someone to take down this behavior, and I want someone to connect with me on the things I need.
I just want to laugh.
I want to laugh. To me, I want to be like, and these are lofty comparisons, but when stuff's going on and you feel like you need a laugh about what is troubling you,
I want to hear our take on it. That's
so
what
it's the same way I feel towards like John Oliver. It's the same way I feel towards Bill Maher. It's the same way I felt towards the Daily Show. There is that notion where you're like, please, someone give me what I need in this moment, and hopefully we can do that for you.
Let us be that as we sit here on this very soft couch. All right,
let's get into it.
Graduation season is happening.
Yes.
All over the place, and it's not fun. This isn't the graduation you asked for.
No.
All right, class of 2020. This sucks on every level. It's not fun. You don't get to, and I feel bad for every.
Here's your cap. Here's your gown. Here's your coronavirus.
Wait, what?
1, 2, 3.
That's happening in Chappaqua, New York. That's Westchester County.
This has nothing to do with Chappaquiddick.
No. Pam. At least 14 people have tested positive for coronavirus following a high school graduation and the high school graduation events in Westchester County, officials confirmed on Monday. So this graduation and all the events happened on Zoom, right? Is that what we're going to say? Because if
my son's graduation was on Zoom, and it was not a graduation, it was a culmination because it was only 5th grade. But you know what? It was on Zoom.
If 14 people got infected by Zoom, we got to start looking at things.
There's some explaining to do.
You got some explaining to do.
So this was an in-person graduation.
Oh, then,
well, there you go.
Right. You get what you get, and you don't get upset, Westchester County, Chappaqua. Westchester County Executive George Latimer and two families traveled.
Didn't we have a girl we went to school with?
She was the nicest person, Ron K. Lattimore.
And
I mean, like the sickest name ever. Ron K.
Lattimore, which we used to sing to the old Stevie Wonder song, My Cherie Amour.
Ron K. Lattimore, pretty little one that I adore.
We have terrible voices.
You're the only one my heart beats for. How I wish that you were mine. Beedle bump. All right, Westchester County Executive George Latimer said two families traveled to Florida prior to the event, and two individuals came back with coronavirus.
Who the hell is traveling to Florida at all right now?
Now, why would you be traveling to a place that is basically does not get? It is like
the entire state is an alligator's mouth that you're jumping into.
Do you remember like that awful show on CBS that they did? I think it was CBS. They did a while back, like Kid Town.
Oh, yeah, where they let a bunch of 5-year-olds
just run the town.
And then they started drinking like Clorox, like bleach.
Did they?
Yeah. And like a kid got really sick and I think almost died, and they had to shut the whole show down.
That's Kid Town.
Kid Town.
Kid Town is more responsible than Florida right now.
Right.
Why are you going to Florida? Why are you going to Florida?
The Florida Project. Just watch the Florida Project and then ask yourself if you want to go to Florida.
Okay, so why are you going to Florida right now? That was before the pandemic. Why are you going to Florida right now between the end of the school year and your graduation?
Got to get that vacation in.
Who needs to get that trip in that quickly? All right? You can't go anywhere after you spend time in Florida. I think if you go to Florida, you have to be quarantined for a month.
Yep.
Like no contact with anybody.
In like a maximum security prison.
I love that you just
got to go in a solitary.
You could not postpone that Florida trip until after graduation.
Had to go. It was really important.
These families should be sued.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
They should have to pay for the graduation.
They should have to pay for graduation parties and food for a bunch of people.
And maybe
all right?
college for all these kids who got sick.
Here's the deal. One of the individuals attending the Horace Greeley High School drive-in graduation ceremony held on June 20th in Chappaquiddick at the Chappaquiddick train station began showing symptoms after the event and tested positive for the coronavirus 4 days later. Again, it's fine. You were asymptomatic when you went, but you still went to Florida and you didn't tell anyone you went to Florida, and that is the problem.
If you go to Florida,
What was he doing? Peeing on people's cars?
if you go to Florida, why don't you just get tested when you come back?
Exactly.
Just in case.
My guess is that the kids got out of the cars, even though it was a drive-through, and just started
Hanging out
congregating
without
without masks on, and that's
They're
what
gonna
happened.
do
All
that.
right.
They're gonna-
13 people who attended the event have tested positive. Jesus.
Jeez.
This is why we can't have nice things. You understand that,
ever,
Chappaqua?
ever. Not even a drive-through graduation.
But we have to go back to the fact that two families went to Florida before the graduation. This is stupid beyond belief. Weirdest call ever. I'm assuming they flew down, so now you're on a full plane.
Like it's business as usual. Let's just go down to Florida
You know, the way
to
you would,
celebrate.
the way you take a trip.
Who
right-
goes to Florida, by the way, near the summertime? The hell are you doing that for? Go to Florida in the wintertime.
Everyone travels right before graduation. And by everyone, we mean no one in history.
And to Florida, of all places.
You might as well have said, we have a few days before Ethan graduates. Why don't we fly to Wuhan and do like a tour of the wet markets?
I think that's a smart
Does
idea.
that sound fun?
Yeah, just to
Well,
celebrate all
Hey,
that
we've
hard
got
work
just
he's
a
put in.
little bit of time.
Yeah, it
before
could be
the
a fun experience, international.
In addition to the graduation ceremony, the students participated in a non-school related field night event on June 20th. Who's sanctioning this? Who is sanctioning a field night after the drive? You cannot have field night. All right, which attended by juniors and
This
seniors
is
and students
literally,
around the school.
I have a headache from how dumb these people are.
Field night. Why is field night still happening? Okay, just because it's outside doesn't mean that field night has to happen. Am I right?
No.
These are high school kids. They all went on spring break when they shouldn't have.
Field
all right?
night is a bad idea.
I'm sure, like on regular field nights, most people get at least like a harpy.
Yeah.
Like one harpy gets thrown around.
Simplex B.
Latimer said that not all positive cases are in Newcastle, and at least one of the cases is located in the neighboring town of Mount Pleasant.
Oh, well, then that makes everyone feel better. Okay.
But least relevant fact of information ever.
Thought he was coming forward with like a good piece of knowledge just to calm everyone down. And everyone's like, that
Why?
doesn't do anything.
Great. Well, of the 14 people that are positive, these people are all interrelated by where they were or by personal
That's like
association.
someone on the deck of the Titanic as it's going down, running up and saying, guys, the oven is still working. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, but that's what constitutes a cluster. Westchester County Health Commissioner Dr. Shirlita Amler. Is that the best name ever? Shirlita Amler.
That's
You are
Shirlita Amler does sound like it could be like a Steely Dan song.
Shirlita Amler is just like, get me a languid guitar and let me do Shirlita Amler. I saw Steely Dan, Walter Becker, Donald Fagen, some incredible studio musicians play a 20-minute Shirlita Amler.
Shirlita Amler was so good.
Were they there on the same field night team?
This is the day of Shirlita Amler.
People have to understand that this year, field night just not going to happen.
You're not going to have field night.
As much as you want your field night to happen, it's a truncated year. It's not going to happen. Officials say all individuals who have tested positive are currently self-isolating. Great. Let's leave it up to them.
Yeah, wouldn't want to force anything on these people because they seem pretty responsible.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the people who went down to Florida between the end of the school year
Think
and
of it
graduation.
like this, all right? Your school was your meal. You don't get dessert this time around. That's all. That's all.
That's a
You had
great-
the experience. You
it's a
had the
great-
dinner.
It's a great way to put it.
Tomorrow you can have dessert. Next year, if you guys want to all get back together a year from now and have your field night that you missed from a year prior,
Do it
I'm
then.
sure no one will fight you on that.
Any individuals who attended the graduation ceremony, field night, or any events associated with the so there were more?
This is the most active graduation.
Should
It's more active than ours was 40 years ago.
And there was no
30
issues,
years ago.
All right. It should extend their quarantine
Why did I
period
make us 58?
until July 5th. Wait, I cannot believe this. We have friends whose kids graduated this
Yeah.
year. And while everyone was unhappy about it, graduation was on Zoom. They made the best that they could. They did the parade of cars by the house. They made it fun as best as they could.
End of story.
People adjusted. Latimer urged people to wear masks and practice social distancing at all events. Glad
Okay.
you're doing it now after the fact that there was a field night, you dummy.
Jesus.
Including 4th of July gatherings this weekend. Thanks a lot, Latimer, because you knew that there were just going to be huge 4th of July gatherings. I mean, this is Chappaqua.
Yeah.
They don't care. I bet people went down to Florida before the 4th of July gatherings. There was a goddamn field night. You know there's going to be a 4th of July gathering.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be 4th of July as usual in Chappaqua. Yeah. Quote, I'm concerned that we are taking all the precautions and try to be safe. And there are people, you know, that really don't care, resident Andrea DeFrutos said. Are these the best names?
Andrea DeFrutos sounds like a DeFrutos sounds like a company that's trying to take down Snapple.
Or DeFrutos sounds like like a shampoo company. Did you bring the DeFrutos?
I only brought the conditioner. I thought I brought the shampoo. I only brought conditioner.
I can't do it, DeFrutos. That doesn't sum up our entire country in a nutshell. I don't know what. It's like the most insightful thing a person has said in the entire, you know what I mean, ever.
But she's not a public official.
No, she's a normal person. Governor Andrew Cuomo.
I'm concerned that some people are taking all these things seriously, but others are not. And in order for us to succeed as a country, everyone has to.
Governor Andrew Cuomo has consistently praised New Yorkers for their social distancing and mask wearing efforts, and they've done a good job. When they had to lock it down, they locked it down.
They understood.
Yet he knows a small percentage of rule breakers can be a huge problem. This is what it is. He says what happened in Chappaqua represents more than just a lack of social control. Like he's calling them out. Cuomo, the governor.
Yeah, he should.
Sadly, we are more interconnected by this virus than ever, meaning we have to rely on the dummies, the weakest links ever to do what's right.
Isn't that what it always is when it comes to like that? Is just such controlling behavior. It is the most controlling behavior for all of us to have to depend on the weakest link to do the right thing. And this country, it's not going to happen.
Local governments need to do the enforcement. They need to do their compliance, Cuomo said. Cuomo is like your dad on a long car trip. He's going to turn that around and literally tell everyone. We talked about this with the hovercraft.
I'm turning this county around.
I'm turning it around. I'm going to turn this entire state around and make everyone shelter in place. If you don't think I can do it, I did it. We'll do it again. 2 officers were going through the crowd. They were putting reminders on everybody. We did not issue any summons. Most people were complaining.
Most people? It should be every person.
Like mask summons. I like this. You shouldn't get arrested, but you should have to pay a huge fine. Yeah. How much do you think the fine should be? Because I have a number in my mind that if you're not wearing a mask, it should be like you're not wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelt's like $250,
$500.
I say $700. Yeah. If you have a $700 fine for not paying a mask, for not wearing a mask, that'd be great. And if you don't pay your fine, you go to jail. To me, that's what it is.
$700.
County executive says that there's no limit to what the authorities can do to make sure that people.
There is a limit on what.
There is. I say $700 fine. There's your
$700 fine.
There's not enough police in the world to come to your front door and make you do what you know is right. Latimer said. You just start finding.
A bunch of people. Everyone's going to stop. Everyone is going to stop.
Chappaqua Central School District tweeted out photos of the drive-in high school graduation. There were 343 seniors graduated. Like, where are the pictures of field night?
I want to know.
Where are the pictures
Who's
of
not
field
wearing
night?
a mask? $700 a pop.
Those are the pictures I want to see.
300 per. Look,
a womp bomb a loobop, a womp bam boom. I want to see those pictures.
Like everyone at that, there was like a Pong Fest party in Texas of a bunch of young people, 300 people, and a bunch of those people tested positive. Look, if you were to have that party and you were there and you were without a mask,
$700. $700 for 300 people tested positive for the Pong party. That's $21,000.
$21,000,
which could all go towards PPE. There.
Yeah. Look at that.
You're paying. Your stupidity is paying for other people to get better.
Now, look, if a Pong Fest is a ping pong themed party based on our ping pong slapdown that we do, because it is Texas, based on what we do in Austin at the Moon Tower, then we apologize for making people so excited about ping pong. But we certainly, within our own world, have not encouraged people to have Pong Fest parties.
Not now.
Just wait. Just wait.
Wear a mask. Wear gloves and do it. And then you can do it.
It's not that hard, guys. It really is not that hard.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what you do for your friends and how that can come back to bite you in the ass or send you where you don't want to go. All right, this is Sklar Country, the Virus Edition. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Want to mention, I don't know if we're still in it because we're recording this so early, but if we're still in the Tournament of Laughs, this Sunday night would be our third round.
And we're very excited about our third round piece.
If we're in it. If
we're not in it, then
don't
we'll
worry
have this
about it.
piece that maybe we'll put up on our social media. That we
But
love.
third round, we love what we shot. We think it came out great. If there's a chance that it could go up there, I'd be so freaking happy.
We need you more than ever.
So please vote for us because we'd like to make it to the fourth round. And if we make it past the third round, we get to shoot a championship sketch.
Yes.
A championship piece. So for the championship round, if we're that lucky to get that far, we love you guys. Thanks for voting for us. You go to tournamentoflaughs.com on Sunday night at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and you can just start voting. Vote early, vote often. It's like a Philippines election.
Okay.
Jay, how old is your house? Do you know?
I think it's 59 or 60.
Okay,
It's
mine is-
mid-century modern.
The house that we're in right now is 1936.
It's almost
Okay,
80.
It's
That's old. That's old.
It's an
now.
old house. It's like, and old houses are great. They've got charm. Stuff is built in places that it normally isn't. Our friend Josh Levitsky lives in Evanston,
It's
Illinois.
in Landmark, I think.
His house may be a landmark. I think it's like 120 years old.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Does
No, I
does
think
that
that's
sound right?
I
It's
think
like
that's
old.
right, yeah.
Okay. It's got its own personality. It's like Gandolfini's breathing in The Sopranos. It's its own character.
Yes.
Okay. Now the house we grew up in St. Louis was built in
72 or 76.
76.
Started construction in 75, 70, I think 76, and then finished when we moved in 77.
77. So late 70s, and it was not constructed well. Okay.
The company that built it was a company called the Royal Construction
Royal
Company.
Construction. How
Which
do we
are-
know, how do we know their name? How do we
Because-
even know who built our house?
Because our dad said the company that built it is called Royal Construction, and they royally screwed us.
Right. They royally screwed us. He said, goddamn Royal Construction. That's what he'd say. Like when things didn't work or things would fall apart or it was too, like when someone took a step upstairs and it was too loud and you felt like they were going to come through the ceiling.
Yes.
Goddamn Royal Construction. And we knew that. It was like zero craftsmanship. It was a great house. We loved it.
Functional house, decent, like
Two-story.
There was like one of 5 models of houses that are in our neighborhood. So all the houses are kind of similar. It's a subdivision.
We
Everyone
had a big finished basement that went out into a yard. It was fine. We loved our house. We loved growing up there. It was a great place to grow up. Okay. But it wasn't a great house. When you think about houses that are built nicely, that are
Yes.
built correctly,
Yes.
it was not. It was 1977. They slapped it together. They didn't give a crap. All right. Every time you jumped, we'd play Nerf hoop in the room, in my room. And every time we jumped, we had to learn-
land so softly.
we would jump up really high and then we just jump.
We had to land so gingerly. It was almost like we didn't make a sound because if we made any kind of sound,
Our dad would yell,
yell up
at
through the floor. They're gonna don't keep,
jump.
Keep jumping.
They'll take it away.
They'll take away the house.
We're like, who's they?
They'll like we're
We-
for a
we
second,
are
we're like,
they.
do we have landlords?
No, we are
We
they.
own the
we
house.
own the house. I mean, I guess the bank could take it away
Keep
from us.
jumping.
Keep jumping.
We can go ahead and live in the bus station.
You'll come through the. He thought we'd come if we jumped. We'd come through the
I don't
floor
know, because as a parent now, I now do yell those things.
but he thought we'd come through the floor.
I do feel like creating fictitious landlords and making us think that we were gonna be evicted from a house that
Don't
we owned
keep
outright.
jumping. They'll take it.
They'll take the house.
Yeah, you want to jump your way out of this house? Jump your way out of the house.
Royal Construction will come and take the whole thing away.
Goddamn Royal Construction. That's what happened.
And
Crazy.
He was kind of right.
Speaking of jumping on a floor in a poorly built house, do we have a story for you?
Okay.
June 30th. Firefighters in Connecticut say a man survived with only minor injuries when he fell through the floor of a friend's home and plunged nearly 30 feet down.
What the hell?
Down a well. We've had a lot of well stories here. That's an unexpected fall. I
I was
can't.
going to say, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well.
well,
All right. So I can't imagine what was going through the guy's mind as he's going down the well.
because I think if you fall through the floor somewhere, you think to yourself,
I'm going
"Uh-oh,
into the basement.
I'll be stuck here."
But you keep going down.
I would feel like in that
I know
moment,
what
I
would-
was like in the Goonies.
Right. I know what would be going through my mind. And this is the phrase that would go through my mind if I fell down a well. Goddamn Royal Construction.
Yeah.
Even though that has nothing to do with Connecticut and they built no housing. Goddamn Royal Construction.
Of course.
The Guilford Fire Department and Guilford Police Department said Christopher Town was helping, he's a townie, was helping a friend move furniture into his house.
No good deed
Goes unpunished. When the floor gave way and he fell nearly 30 feet down a well under the house, splashing into cold water at the bottom. That had to feel good.
Okay.
Freezing water.
This guy who brought him in to move, That's your ride to the airport for the rest of your life.
right?
That's what this gives you.
If ever you're like, he's like, hey man, can you drive me to the airport? And you're like, it's game night tonight and we got people over. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Remember when I fell in a well?
Just make sure no one steps in an area where they could fall down a well in your house like I did when I was helping you move your
When
furniture.
I selflessly came and helped you out.
Then the guy's like, all right, I'll be right there.
Mhm.
That's it. You get the airport ride for life if that's the case.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Maybe when I'm driving, I'll fall into a sinkhole when I'm driving myself to the
And then
airport.
we'll be even.
Police department said that the well is likely located outside the house when it was built in 1843, but the hole was covered by some simple wood flooring when the property was renovated and added on to.
Okay.
And added on to.
So the house was fit in a certain area. Someone got greedy. Like, didn't we do that thing on United States of America? How everything is like expanded. Like coffins were smaller, theater seats were smaller, everything was smaller. But now we need to supersize everything.
So they tried
The
to make
house
the house
wasn't
bigger,
big enough,
which
so
I
let
don't
me-
blame them if you want to build more
All right,
house.
you built
But just
it,
do it
add on
right.
to the
Build a
house.
subfloor for Christ's sake over a well. You had to
Jesus
see the well that was there, so no one built it. And it was outside 1981. So this is kind of the era of royal construction. God damn it!
People weren't checking stuff back in 81.
They just slapped it together. It's important to note that some of these older historical homes may have hazards that were not upgraded in current code, the police
Of
said.
course, because nobody is, when given the opportunity to do something. What did our Uncle Eddie's old bit? And someone asked us about this on Instagram or Twitter.
If you want, you can have it one of two of three ways: good, fast, or cheap. If it's good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If it's fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. If it's good and cheap, it's not going to be fast. Good, fast, cheap. Pick two. Uncle Eddie, Edward Applebaum, printing business in Canton, Ohio. I love how many goddamn wells there were back in the day.
That's how people got water.
I guess, but you really had to be careful that you wouldn't fall down a well.
That was a
sounds like-
genuine concern in the mid.
Like when kids were going out of the house, the parents were probably like, "Be
Don't-
careful, don't fall down
Don't
a well."
fall in a well.
That was a concern in the mid 1800s.
Because if you go down in a well, we say goodbye to you.
Firefighters tossed down a flotation device to help him remain above water, worked to hoist him out of the water with a rope system. I mean, there was apparently like 7 feet deep of cold ass water
So
that
he
was
fell
swimming
down into what? He was in water.
in water. I mean, at least he didn't hit the ground down there. So I
Right,
think
that's
that
what
actually
probably
helps.
helped
Yeah, that
his
saved
fall.
him. He was, again, let me reiterate, helping a goddamn friend move.
Unreal.
If I'm the friend, I'm definitely sending him just to mess with him a get well card.
Come on.
Get well soon card. With like several underlines under the word well. Town suffered only minor injuries from his fall. 30 feet, dude. 30 feet. Have you jumped 30? I jumped 30 feet off a cliff
When I start to say I'm having neck problems for the rest of my life. You owe me money.
From here on out, I mean, he's treated from his fall, local hospital. And from here on out, I'd be calling him downtown, right? He's downtown, going down. Fire department was incredibly professional, Town told the local news. They did a wonderful job and saved my life, basically. Basically. It's not a certainty, and that's what's so funny, that
Yeah,
I would
whether or
have died down there, but I was getting more and more hypothermic. Yeah, you would have died probably.
That's freezing cold.
What if the fire department was incredibly unprofessional? They sent down a thing, they sent down a rope, and then every time he reached for it, they pulled it up like they were like a big brother just trying to mess with him.
look at you.
And then laughed at him.
F you, bitch.
Honestly, if you fell through a floor, in my opinion, you would have PTSD for the rest of your life because you have to walk on floors wherever you go.
That's
Right? Like
terrifying.
anytime a floor creaks, I would just jump on, hold on to something.
yeah.
Right?
You're
Wouldn't
gonna have a
is
lot
that the
of PTSD
worst
from
time of PTSD? It's not even like a loud sound.
No.
It's like you walk
That's what
on
we do
floors.
all the time.
It's terrifying. How much did this guy blame his wife, who was probably better friends with the wife,
Right.
and roped him into this
He's like,
moving thing?
Why do I have to go over there and do this with this
Just
guy?
do it. She's
She's saying that he needs more friends. Well, then he can figure out his own. Fine, I will go over here and do this
as
for him.
long as it's quick and as long as they don't fall 30 feet down into a well and then
freezing water.
just goes to show that this pandemic feels like a black plague type scenario. You're being brought back to the time of wells.
Yes, all of the darkness,
All of the dark age. People are falling down wells.
So it
That's where
feels
we've
like
come
in
back to.
Ghostbusters when they've released all the evil spirits.
Yeah.
It's like it's all out in the world right now, and they're running rampant, and everything wrong that could go wrong is going wrong to humanity.
So let's try and fix it, guys. That is a show.
There
We
you
love you guys. Stay connected. Stay
Don't fall
protected.
into a well.
Don't fall in a well. Stay connected. Stay protected. Don't get infected. Punch a water faucet, then wash your hands because we don't have to get water from wells anymore.
That's right.
But just be careful. If you're a creak on a floorboard, grab onto something. That's all I'm saying.
Grab on, guys. Watch us on TBS Tournament of Laughs. If we're
Vote
still
for
in
us.
it.
Vote
If
for us
we're
at
still there.
If we're still
I don't
there,
know if
vote
we'll
for
be
us at tournamentoflaughs.com if we're still there.
Join our YouTube page if you haven't joined the YouTube page and subscribed. I think we've got more listeners on here than we do subscribers on our YouTube page.
So
those
please
things
get on.
should be even. It's
Just go to it. It'd be a blast.
YouTube.com. Go to YouTube. I said YouTube.com. Go to YouTube. Look up Sklarbro Country. Subscribe. It's free. It's
free.
Super easy. And tool around and check out some of the fun stuff on there.
And we'll see you tomorrow. We're out.
La-ti-da, la-ti-da-ti-da-ti-da, la-ti-da-da.